Well, good afternoon. Hello, B&E family. How are you guys doing this evening? Welcome to B&E Presents the Trend. I am Alviana Brewster, the founder and CEO of Black Nurse Entrepreneurs, also known to you as B&E. We are the premier networking organization for Black nurses interested in launching, building, and growing their entrepreneurial endeavors worldwide. Today we have episode 21, and it's going to be titled Empowering Nurses to Set Up Their Businesses Right. In this episode, we have two special guests with us, both Donna Rosby and Danielle Bryant, who have collectively come together to create D&D Solutions. So let me tell you a little bit about D&D Solutions. D&D Solutions is a combination of two nurses who combined their expertise to serve other nurses during the pandemic. Together, they showed nurses how to legally reduce their tax liability through retirement and investment strategies, through business allocations, through business setup and foundation, and much more. So who are these girls individually? Danielle Bryant, aka Multiple Streams Queen, is a healthcare professional with over 15 years of experience, with 9 of those years being in trauma and emergency medicine. She took her passion for helping others and merged it with her entrepreneurial passion, helping individuals in the financial service industry, such as taxes and bookkeeping, credit education, and repair, and business development as well. And she recently launched a transportation company with her spouse this year, with plans to be fleet owners very soon. She has been coined the Multiple Streams Queen by friends because of her desire to create wealth and build legacy through multiple revenue streams. She currently and actively invests in the stock market and real estate, and she wants to inspire other nurses to dream big and create bigger realities with knowledge, planning, and action. Now, for Donna Rosby, aka Miss Dollars, she is the mother of 2 adult girls and has 1 granddaughter who is the main character for her financial literacy series for children. She is a registered nurse, financial educator, author, serial entrepreneur, speaker, investor, and business owner. Currently, she's authored more than 6 books, with one being a series on financial literacy for children, and most recently an anthology titled A Nurse with a Niche, Financial Health. Some of her serial entrepreneurial endeavors include multiple investment clubs, a successful tax and insurance business, stock market educator, aka Miss Dollar, and recently the owner of a group home for women. Without further ado, I present to you what I call the dynamic duo, D&D Solutions. So I'm going to go grab them and bring them on, and we are going to talk tonight. So hang on just a second here. I got Miss Dollars and I got Multiple Streams Queen with us. So hello, ladies. How are y'all tonight?
Hello, hello. I am wonderful. Thank you.
Perfect. Can you hear us, Danielle?
Yes. Hello. Hey,
How are y'all?
Very good. Very good here in California.
Right. You see, we were making fun of her earlier because it's so sunny and bright there. We're over here dark and sleeping. But I love these two. These two are my girls, my good friends, but also I admire them for the amazing job that they are doing in the nurse entrepreneurship realm. So I'll give them a moment to kind of tell you a little bit more about themselves. I'll give you the honor, Miss Donna, if you want to add anything to what I already have mentioned about you.
Not too much. Just other, there's always being a serial entrepreneur, mainly, focusing on investments. Of course, there's other things to be done, but under the umbrella of what I already have, it's pretty much covered everything.
We covered it. All right, perfect. Yeah. How about you, Dee? You got anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Oh, well, I will be opening my group home.
Yes.
I went to Tasha and Tamara's conference, and it was amazing. And I took what they taught me, and I'm getting to work.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. So y'all got to tell us, a couple of weeks ago, I started seeing all of this D&D stuff, and I'm like, who is D&D? What have they created now? So you guys have to fill us in. What is D&D Solutions? What does that mean to y'all?
You want to start, Danielle?
Sure. So, man, Donna is always working. Donna is always busy. So she called me and she had an opportunity to help some nurses, and she wanted to collaborate, and she wanted us to do it together. So helping them on their taxes and to set up their businesses and also with budgeting. So I was like, absolutely.
Mhm.
So, all it took was her having the opportunity and her actually reaching out to me and wanting to collaborate. And of course, I said yes.
Of course. Well, why wouldn't we work with a lady named Mrs. Dollars, right? Why
Right.
not? Why not? Why not? So, tell us, because you guys are very busy. Y'all are involved in so many things as far as business is concerned. I mean, we literally just read off, investments and taxes and business formation and all of that. What is the general purpose, the overall purpose of D&D Solutions? What are you guys trying to do with your audience?
Donna?
So I will say for us, because the knowledge that we have is not always the most favorable knowledge of, taxes and money is not a lot of people like that. And since we do, and we know how important it is and how it's done for us personally, and both Danielle and I are, we love people, we are nurses, but just by nature, but our heart and soul is in educating others and showing them the blueprint to how to do what we've done. If not to show them, if you're not a teachable, some people, I don't want to learn it, just do it. Then for us to be able to do it right for them and still educate them on the way. We tell our clients, yes, we will do this for when you hire, but they do get educated on the way. Some want the education, some don't, but they get it. But the goal is to, show everybody that there's things for us that we can step into once we know about our money, our taxes, our budgeting, that will help us go that one step further. And we all know that there's wealth in business. A W-2 cannot take you into financial wealth. So knowing those two things and knowing that that's what we love, the only thing we can do is give back.
Gotcha. So, and this is for each of you. As we all know, you're nurses. So how did you branch off into these other industries? Like, what even inspired or motivate you to even go into like financial or taxes or even business itself? Danielle, you go.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
let you
go.
go.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Well, I know for myself, my father has been an entrepreneur for much of my entire life. I never saw him work for anybody else. He always had his own businesses, and he was a real estate investor. And my dad was a hustler. He could sell honey to a bee. So, and I always admired him and admired his passion and his drive. And so I always knew that I wanted my own business. Didn't quite know how that fit into my life after becoming a nurse. And like I say, I kind of got into entrepreneurship by accident. I was asked to teach some classes, and I was an independent contractor. And so I made my own schedule and I set up my own classes, and I absolutely loved it. But what I tell people, I love the tax savings that I got from having a business, because you spend a lot of money in business and you don't realize, you can write a lot of that stuff off and it helps you with your taxes. I know quickly after graduating and going back to school, I always worked 2 jobs. And so I'm used to making a lot of money. But if you don't have children, you don't have anything to write off, you have those hefty tax bills. So when I learned about having a business and having that saving on my taxes, like I was just blown away. And I started getting books and researching and learning as much as I could about taxes.
How about you, Donna?
So mine's actually goes back to the age of 9 when my dad, who was my godparents, who raised me, my mother and father, and I tell this because this is my story, were both addicted to drugs, and my godparents raised me from birth. I was actually like 4 months. I stayed with my mom, but they would keep me on the weekends. And my dad only had a 6th grade education, so it was, when I say my dad, that's my godfather. So I always say I'm the rich dad, poor dad, because I had the but they weren't rich. They just were a little bit more educated, even though they weren't educated, if that makes sense. And his goal in life was for me, because they didn't have children together, to go to college and to do what nobody else in his family had done. So he protected me at all ends. I'm from Oakland, and there was a lot of things going on, a lot of bad things, and he just sheltered me. So I was very disciplined even at a very young age. And so he started teaching me how to balance his checkbook, meaning taking out FICA, state, knowing all those write-offs. I would have to calculate it down to the 0.5% the day
Mm,
before he picked up his check. And I was 9 years old. So he started teaching me how to save. I tell you, when I saved every dime. I didn't want to spend none of my money, spend everybody else's money. And I never was a spender, but even when I did, I liked that money just building up in my little bank next to me. And then as time went, I was trying to find my way. Didn't want to do what he said to do from the beginning, go be a nurse. I wanted to be a doctor, blah, blah, blah. Went to school, never worked a job. And things didn't hit me until I was in college and I got my first job. I just wanted to work because
mhm,
he taught me, you let me worry about work. You go to school, get straight A's. But we know now that that's not, it takes more than that, because I snuck out and I got a job and I got fired the first week because I did not know how to count change.
mm,
I didn't know how to physically. I knew numbers in my head, but the real life didn't kick in. And lady had bought some shoes for 16.57. And I didn't know from from a $50 bill, how much money to give back to her. And I
mm,
swore that day I would always learn about money. So that was the beginning that catapulted that. And then, of course, went through life and things hit you. So my book, Niche Nurse, that part is telling my story on how I tell what you do and what you've done is your story, is what you probably are supposed to do. So all these things came into play that I just didn't recognize. And then as becoming a nurse, even as being a nurse, I still was interested in numbers. I still wanted to learn about the stock market. I still wanted to learn why my 401k, what was it? What does it do? And in that incident, I went to go talk to the 401k guy because they
mhm.
said, find out what's going on. And I remember him sitting on a table above me while I sat in the chair and talking down to me, basically saying, I know what I'm doing. I said, well, why this? Why that? He couldn't address me. He basically told me, do what, I'll do it. And I got you covered. I walked out of there feeling intimidated and mad as hell. And I said right then, I will never let that happen again. So it was all lessons. So the taxes came. I had multiple businesses. Probably I had 13 properties in 2008, the crash. Didn't know what I was doing, just buying stuff. And just because that's what people were doing, but I didn't have
Mhm.
any knowledge behind it. And I got audited because while I was doing that, I was also working as a nurse. I probably worked 29 days straight in California. I
Wow.
made so much money and I had 13 properties and it was just a big mess. But my CPA was not a CPA. He was bad. His office got audited. I got $100,000 tax bill. And they said at the end of the day, you should have knew what you signed. That was my tax lesson. I said, that will never happen again. So I taught myself taxes. So it was all lessons that I say when I
Mhm,
talk to my clients, I've been there. I've done that. I can write the book about it. So you're not talking to someone who didn't live that lesson. I learned what I learned because of those lessons. And it just kind of grew from there. And from the 401k, you got to know the stock market. And I knew that there was wealth in the stock market. So because I knew that it was there, it was my duty to not only teach it for myself, but to teach it for my family
mhm.
and to teach it so that I can tell others. Everything I did was always so that I can go run and tell somebody. Oh, girl, I learned this. Let me tell you about it. I learned this. Let me tell you about it. Hence the money lady.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So I feel like I like hearing the stories because we don't always get to hear the background story of what goes on in people's lives, but it's our story. It formulates who and what we are. And I appreciate the transparency from the both of you because I'm hoping that somebody that's listening today is taking note because oftentimes we go down these wrong roads or, life happens, things happen
Mhm.
to us. And sometimes we feel like that's the end of the story and that's it. We're going to give up and throw in the towel. But there's always a lesson to be
Right.
learned. And I love the fact that you took some of those situations and you turn them out for your good, but not
Yes.
only for you, but other people can also
Right.
learn from that. So I appreciate you just essentially giving back, you know.
Hmm.
So one of you guys says all the time that, this year, we need to be starting businesses. And I want to know, why do you feel like this is the year? I've been saying this is the year of the Black nurse anyways, but why do you think we need to be business owners? Why is that important to you? Donna, I'll let you take that one first.
So, and that's Danielle's question. She's the one that you always hear say. But first of all, like I said, that was the main thing. You can't find, there's no wealth. You can't get wealth with a W-2.
Right.
Business is where the wealth is, because there's not only growth, the tax accommodations are humongous. We already know how our ex-president, the taxes that he paid, Bezos, the taxes that they didn't pay. So the wealthy know how to evade taxes legally. And when I say legally, the tax code, you can do X, Y, Z, but you can only do that if you have a business. So the taxes and business go hand in hand. You have to have a person who really knows those foundations to actually help you expedite that. Because if you still have the person who doesn't know how to collect those write-offs, then that business is just a business. It's just another W-2. You can just do it the same way you'd have a W-2. So that flexibility and that width of the knowledge that can be used to increase your passive income, your regular income, you get $100 and you write that $100 off by using tax deductions down to $10. That's what you want to be able to do, so that you walk away with keeping your money and you pay the government the rest after everything is done. So having a business and not only that, it's just a self-fulfillment. So not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. So we understand that we need workers. I need very good people to work for me who don't want to carry this big title. So even for them, a 1099 is just almost as good as a business. So I don't give my employees W-2s. I try to give them 1099s, because I can even teach them that way. What's the goal? Is to protect that dollar and hold on to as much as you can. A 1099, I can walk you away with at least $10,000, as opposed to a W-2 where I can do nothing.
Makes sense. Danielle, you take it.
So, just with the pandemic, looking at the bailouts that the government has released, regular Americans are receiving $600, and they set aside billions for business owners. Like Tamara them will say, follow the money. Where is the money being sent to? Who is getting the majority of the money? What is $600 going to do for Americans that haven't worked all year? It's nothing, right? It's like hush money. Here we gave you that. Okay, be quiet. Why business owners are getting millions of dollars. And why are you not getting a piece of it? I'm not telling you to start a business if that is truly not your passion. But if if you have a side hustle, take it serious. Treat your business like a business. Go ahead and go after those grants and go after that funding, go after those loans, and have a plan for it, right? So when I say treat your business like a business, have a business plan, have something to do with the money. Don't just go after it and then you're like, okay, what do I do now? Right? So treat it like a business. If you go after that funding, those loans and those grants, have something to do with the money. Invest into your business, and I hope you're putting it into something that will help you grow your business and scale your business. So no, I'm not the person that's telling you just go out there and get an LLC to try to get write-offs, because eventually you'll get audited and you will pay all the money back.
Right.
But a lot of people invest in real estate, and I'm like, go and get some business formations and treat that like a business. That is a business. So, a lot of nurses are also making a lot of money, $300,000 and $400,000, if not more. And you need places to put that money. You need some type of write-offs, because you're gonna have a big old tax bill.
It's true. It's true. Here's another thing too. I feel like, and it's imperative us as Black Americans that we kind of take this to heart, but each generation is getting a little better. whether it's financial literacy or just education in general. But we still have a lot of work to do. And so we need to still understand that even though we may be the richest generation thus far, or we may have access to lots of things, lots of resources, we still need to maintain that hunger and that tenacity to keep growing. In other words, I see this in our community of nurses where they'll be like, well, I already got my DNP and I'm the CEO of the hospital and this, that, and the
Mhm.
third. I don't need to do anything else. Like, I have made it. Okay. But one thing that I want to encourage people, I mean, just like the both of you have multiple different revenue streams coming in from different angles. And it's just like a picture that I saw on Facebook. It was a table, and the table had four legs, and it's like one of the legs got cut off, but the table was still standing because the other legs were keeping it afloat.
Mhm.
But if you have a table that has just that one leg in the middle,
Mhm. Mhm.
if that leg is gone, that's
That's
a
it.
done deal.
That's
So
it.
it's very important for us to understand. I don't care how many letters we have behind our name. I don't care how much experience we have. Having ownership in some form or fashion, even if you are the head CEO of your company versus having another passive stream of income, is a very good idea. Would y'all agree?
Absolutely.
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 I,
Yes.
I can say for myself personally, why I go so hard with trying to create wealth and create those multiple streams is because a few years ago, I went from having two jobs and being very comfortable, having the ability to do what I wanted, go on vacation, take my family. Um, where on those vacations, I went from those two jobs to no job. I had
Wow.
just bought my house. I had celebrated my 30th birthday, and it was just right in front of my eyes. Both of my jobs were gone. The job that I loved, I gave up
Mhm.
travel
Mhm.
nursing for. Oh, I love this place. I love these people. They fired me just like
Wow.
that. And so I'm like, never, ever again will I give anybody the opportunity to fire me and have me broke and depressed,
Mhm.
trying to figure
Mhm.
out where my next dollar
Right.
is coming from. And then also thinking about how much money had gone through my hands, through my
Mhm.
bank accounts. And now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills. So I
Mhm.
said, no, no more, no more. So I know for me, if I lose my job today or tomorrow, I will be okay.
Yep. You have a
Mhm.
whole
Mhm.
nother stream. Actually, you
Mhm.
got about five streams rolling at the same time. But that's the beauty of it. That's the
Right.
beauty of it. And I always try to remind people too that we have other gifts. We're not just a nurse. And even if you are, even if you consider yourself just a nurse, even within that title, we can spin off books,
Right.
speaking, we can spin off consulting, and all sorts of other things just within that title alone. You can go and work your 9 to 5, but you can
Right.
have a course over here running
Right.
while you're at home,
Right.
asleep, making passive income. And so I
Mhm.
always want to throw that in there. How does that apply to your D&D solutions? How are you guys helping people to maybe figure out another stream, a revenue stream?
So for me, and I'm going to add to that last question too. So, and I make this public. I am recovering from COVID. I got COVID, and I'm going back to work this week. Didn't ever get hospitalized, but didn't skip a beat financially. That's because all my other things were already still working. I still work 2 days a week, but even with that, I didn't. I could focus on getting well, not on when my bills are going to get paid. Because
Mhm.
first of all, everything's always paid in advance and automated. I just kind of pushed a couple of extra buttons to automate a little bit more while I was down. But that's the beauty of having multiple streams of income. Not that job, I could leave it today and still be financially okay. So I just wanted to add that in, just so Danielle had given that piece of information. But as far as how we're including it with D&D solutions for everyone else, the main thing is knowing that knowing what we know and taking this information together, because both of us have a little piece of all this information that we just talked about, the taxes, the business formation. One
Yeah.
has a little bit more knowledge in one area, and that's why we have the collaboration, because together we make one whole piece. Taking this and showing the next nurse and the next person, because it might be a few people that's not nurses. Nurses is our specialty, but showing them, because we realize that we're telling nurses get a business. Well, we can say that all day, but then if they don't know what to do with that business once they have it, which is why I do one-on-one consultations, free 30-minute one-on-one consultations. Danielle will tell you, and she does also, so that I can dig out, what do you really want to do? What are you trying to accomplish? So now Danielle's helped you set that business up. What are you going to do next? What is your banking set up? Do you have your POS set up? What else is set up? And what else do you want to do? So we tell people, go, you need to invest your money. Well, invest in what? Just because we know what to invest in, everybody doesn't know that. They need to know that from people who are investors. Like, what do you do? Not to copycat, but give examples, because I believe in mindset. When the mindset hears what it's supposed to hear to open up that mind, the things that you're supposed to have will come to you. So you might not want to be the type of investor that I am, but the knowing that you know someone like you that has done something, now that dream, or that little voice that you heard before to invest in that old antique car that you might have want to see. Now it's just my job. You came up with what you want, to show you how to do that and to make money doing it. So we're just taking our knowledge together and specializing in what we know, and having people bring to the table what they want, and giving them what they want within what we have.
Gotcha. Danielle, do you want to add to that?
No, I think Donna covered it perfectly. Whenever we're talking to the nurses, if we don't know something, we have resources. We got somebody that
Right.
knows what you need. If you want funding for your real estate deals, we know somebody that can help you get that all set up and started. So, we may not know everything, and we're not just going to sit on the phone and try to tell you something that we don't know or we don't have experience with. We're going to refer you to the right people. So, just being in this space, we are connected with some awesome ladies that can help you with almost any and everything you want to do.
Yeah. So, are you guys helping nurses across the whole entire country with business formation and LLCs, or just in a specific location?
Nope. We are, for me specifically, I will say, because I'm a licensed insurance agent. When I have a client who wants to identify what they need, if they're in a state that I'm not licensed in, I just get licensed in that state so that I can help them. So if you are in a state that I'm not in, for me, the state laws are different. I have to learn the state laws, but for insurance, I just have to get licensed in that state. So I'm in Cali. I have no clients whatsoever from our new nurses group that is from California. They're all from the East Coast. So no, we take people pretty much everywhere. We haven't got anybody from like Canada or like Africa countrywide as of yet.
Because we have them here in our community.
Exactly.
They may come calling you.
They may
Okay?
come, and you know what? A phone call away. Because if I actually have a CPA also, so we don't overstep our bounds either. If it's something that really, if they connect with us and we're the face, I have my references and referrals, and so does Danielle. Then I'll put a call out to my CPA, who we know are nationwide, and we'll just collaborate there to still be able to give that nurse specifically what they need and to make sure it's done correctly.
Gotcha. Why do you think that in our community specifically are we nervous or scared when it comes down to taxes and investments?
Lack of knowledge. You're scared of what you don't know. And math has never been too many people's friends, especially women. It's been that old folk tale, we don't like math and we don't like maps, MMs. So what we tell her, honey, you go ahead and drive. I don't know. I do not know north, south, east, and west. I am not that person to this day. So I think it's lack of knowledge. And I can say that professionally, because clients that come to me, the first thing they say is, I know my situation is bad. I know you. And I always have to say, first of all, you are hippified. What you say to me stays with me. And second of
Mhm.
all, number two, there's always someone worse than you. And the
Yeah.
fact that you came forward to fix it is the fact that you made the first step that that person who might not be in a worse situation didn't do. So you're one step above them. So, lack of knowledge is important, and just not knowing, taxes is a huge endeavor, just like the stock market. And we just get intimidated. And I think the bigger world wants us to get intimidated. They use
Mhm.
words that's unnecessary. You don't need to use all them big old words to say, make your point, and you just need to teach on a level that the layman understands. And that's what we're good at.
What do you think, Danielle? Why do you think that in our community sometimes we're fearful of taxes and investing?
Um, Mindset, and then also just we know and we look at things from our level of understanding. So if people around you aren't doing what you want to do, if they're not investing in all these things, and they don't know about stocks and they don't know about this, who do you have to reference? Who do you
Mm,
have to ask questions to? So because you don't know, and then a lot of times we are scared that we're going to lose money. Anything that you invest in, there's a potential for you to
Hmm.
lose money. So if
Hmm.
you're scared that you're going to lose money and that's why you're not spending it, don't invest. Don't invest in the stock. Don't invest in anything because there's always that potential that you could lose money. I think I told you, Alviana, I invested with some ladies and nearly lost $10,000. I recovered some of it, but I was willing to lose the $10,000 in hopes of the potential gain. So you got to be a risk taker. You got to know your risk level when you're investing, and don't be afraid. Like, just go at it with the understanding that, hey, this may or may not work out, but know the right questions to ask, and go in it with some knowledge, with some type of knowledge base, and you'll feel, I think, more confident in your investments and things that you're moving forward with.
gotcha. Let's switch over to the CARES Act and what's going on in the government right now. Obviously, we are very familiar with the pandemic. By this point, if you have not heard about the pandemic, I don't know what to tell
Under a
you.
rock.
um, and around what was it? I guess March, February, March, April, somewhere in that range of last year, the government released a lot of money, and you guys kind of touched upon that earlier. But let's dive into that a little bit deeper. I know Danielle specifically, you helped a lot of people
Mhm.
to get take advantage of that money, but you also saw some people that were not able to take advantage of that money. So I just want to give you the opportunity to kind of speak on why this is important right now.
Absolutely. So there are a few factors in with EDL and then the PPP. I think for one, like if you didn't have your house in order, your business in order, because they need certain paperwork from you. If you didn't know what the paperwork is, a lot of people just shied away and say, "Hey, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to do it." And then also with the EDL loans, people were getting denied for the credit. And then a lot of times, what happened, people will get denied, and they will be afraid to go back for a reconsideration. So if you got denied based off whatever reason, the SBA, you could email them and say, "Hey, I want to be reconsidered on these grounds," and you can absolutely appeal it, and you could successfully get your loan. So I think just not being prepared. A lot of times, sometimes we get in business, and like Donna said, we don't know the numbers, so we don't deal with it. We just know that we're making money, but you have no way of keeping up with what's going on. And so now, when the pandemic hit, people are asking you for all this paperwork, and you're like, "What is that? What is a P and L statement?" And
Mhm,
and
mhm,
so they
mhm.
have no idea, and so they're like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll just close down my business."
Gotcha. Donna, you want to add anything to that?
I think she covered most of it. Yeah, just not understanding the business formation being one, even the sole proprietors. I know in my family, I grabbed every single person, all my sister who had been thinking about her business, and a few people, and just, kind of now moving forward, I'd say 5 of my family members that didn't have a business now has one in 2021, because I made sure of
Nice.
that. And, just sit down and just work with them. But just not knowing how important that business basis is, and that all of this that's coming through is only for people that have had businesses, and like you said, the people that didn't get theirs, understanding that there was a credit basis behind them. So some people didn't get it because the credit just wasn't right. So just not having your house in order, but the good thing is there's a second go round. Hopefully people learn from some of the things, got their businesses started, and we're able to, be a part of this second one. There's still a lot of rules behind everything that's going to happen with the second round, but, getting their credit fixed, because your business formation and credit stems from your personal first. I don't know if anybody remembers with your business, when you first got that first credit card, it asked for your social first. So it ran you first, because your business, if it falls, it's going to fall on you eventually. You will be the co-signer. So you still have to have that. And you do, like I said, want to have your personal self in order. But there's money to be made, but the money is given to businesses, not to W-2 earners.
And I was going to actually ask you just how important is your personal credit whenever you're thinking about business? And you actually just touched up on that. But, a lot of people don't really realize how they can leverage their personal credit in order to get some additional funding for their business. And so, these are things that we just are simply not taught.
Right.
We're not simply taught.
Right.
And I appreciate you guys for coming forth and trying to help that improve our literacy, because we can go out here and we can flip all this money, especially in right now in this season during COVID, where so many travel nurses are making a lot of money. But if we're not utilizing the resources, or if we're not properly budgeting or
Mhm.
allocating the money
Mhm.
appropriately, I mean, what's
Mhm.
$150,000-$250,000 if it's gone in a
Right.
couple of months?
Right.
Or
Right.
you didn't put it
Exactly.
somewhere, you didn't plant that seed somewhere, so now that it can
They can
produce you
grow.
$500,000.
Correct. Correct.
Do y'all
Correct.
help people with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the I know, well, I know, both of us, but when they come to me, my mind is always, when I meet somebody, to find the money you have and let's put it somewhere invested. Something needs to 10% of everything you earn is yours to keep. That's my motto. That's what I live by. That 10% and needs to be invested somewhere. So
Mm,
anyone that works with me, I'm gonna find that 10%. So you're going to stop buying something that I'm going to get that extra 10%, because we're going to invest that. And more than likely, 8 times out of 10, when someone sees that they're making money off of money they already have,
mm,
something changed. There's a mindset click. And it's like, oh, okay. I said that same. I think I did a live. I got a Louis purse, and I said that Louis purse. I say, it might probably, I don't know. Somebody bought it because it might have been 1,500. I'm just
mhm,
gonna throw it out there because I don't know. And for me, I would have said 1,500. So when I get big purchases like that, I take that same dollar amount and I'll invest that. Now in
mm,
10 years, my 1,500 is going to be worth X. This Louis with that 1,500 is going to be worth what? So is
really.
even if it's equal, I still got tangible and you still got dollar amount. So absolutely showing people what they need to do to make that passive income and make compounded interest. Money off of your own money is key. And it
Yeah,
has to be, that has to be taught.
definitely. So Danielle, I know that part of your story with your business is that you've helped people with bookkeeping and budgeting, I believe. So I'd like to touch on that. And I know, and she's even gotten on to me about this before, but she says, you need to have QuickBooks and make sure that you're putting your stuff down and tracking it. Because like every week I go in there and I just move stuff over and make sure that I'm tracking it. So, isn't that what you say, D?
Yeah, yeah, it's so simple. I mean, you just set up the QuickBooks. It's very, very simple. You can use even a notebook and um, pen. But I mean, for those that don't mind paying a little fee every month, QuickBooks is very simple. You set it up with all of your business accounts, and it will do everything for you. All you need to go in there and do is the categories, like categorize it. And so at the end of the year, when you need to go do your taxes, guess what? You go right in QuickBooks and you got everything you need.
Yep.
You ain't got to be sitting there going through your personal account, trying to figure out, was that a business expense or was it not?
Right.
By the way, it's not, you shouldn't be mixing your money.
Right.
That
A
was
lot
my
of
next
people are
question.
doing it.
That was going to be my next one.
A lot of people are doing it.
What is that called, Danielle?
That is called commingling.
Commingling.
And eventually it can get you in a lot of trouble. People set up business entities and different things for asset protections, but if you're commingling your money, you're just stripping away any protection that you had, and people can come after your personal assets.
Mm-hmm. How do
Mm-hmm.
you go about with D&D Solutions? How do y'all go about helping people to properly budget? What is your process to do that?
Well, depending on which package, because that has to be something that person wants, because that we have different packages that we offer. So if
Mhm.
they want us to help them with that, after they get through talking with us, I mean, hopefully, it would, if they haven't done it already, and we usually can tell if I'll say, send me X and, how much are you worth? What are your assets? Most people either know 100% or don't know at all. So after 20 minutes of pulling out, oh, by the way, I told you I have a house over here. Well, that's kind of an asset. That's a rental. See, when you sign for that loan, did you put that house on the application? So helping with the budget, first of all, has to be a choice. They have to want to get it. And then we usually do it. For me, I do it very easily. I just quickly set up an automatic Google Doc that has everything already in place. And literally after talking, I can either put the numbers in, they can put it in. As they find it, they enter it, I correct it. That budget will stay with them because it's just in and out. What's in and what goes out. Very simple, but people don't like to do it. And it's the original setup that's the hardest. So usually like I said, we work with someone, we set it up at the beginning. They can take that and keep that and take that and transfer it over to, make it just user friendly. It's just really grabbing the number, putting it there and just keeping track of it. And once you have that basis, that same document can be used every year. My documents just continue on my Excel spreadsheet. If you don't know Excel, once the columns are made, then that person just needs to add the columns. So helping them keep it foundational and basic is important.
Gotcha. So, and let's piggyback off of that. How would you say a budget is going to help you to maximize and monetize the money that you do have?
I would say you get a chance to look at where you are spending your money.
Hmm.
You know exactly, you're making all this money. You're like, I don't know how I end up broke every month.
Mm-hmm.
But if you sit down and you do your budget and you look at where your money is going, you're like, oh my God, I'm spending $200 on this and $300 on
Mm-hmm.
this. And, you have all these subscriptions that you're not even using. Like, you get a chance to cut those things off or cancel those subscriptions that you're not using, and you can reallocate that money to something else.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it makes perfectly good
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do y'all want to touch on having your business ready to do business and preventing it from being audit proof? So, obviously we want to set our businesses up uh, appropriately, but
Mm-hmm.
what are ways that we can, or what I should say, maybe what are steps or things that we can do to prevent becoming audited? Everybody doesn't like the audit word,
Right.
so
Right.
that scares people. But
Yes.
what would you have? What type of advice would you have to say about that?
Well, I can definitely speaking on that, saying that I was audited for 101,200 and 101,230. That's what that bill was. And did I already say I had 13 houses and I had worked 38 hours? So I made $248,000 that year, 248,000, 13 houses. I was the manager for all houses. It was a hot ass mess. So when that auditor, I've hired an attorney because it was so bad. I
Mhm.
went into severe depression because everything, the money was being commingled. I was paying for the rent from this house, from this house. They break you down to take everything off. Well, where's this dollar? And you're talking like 4 and 5 years later. So I say that to say, to become audit proof is number one, no commingling, because it will just come back to haunt you. So
Mhm.
setting up that business right at the beginning, that's why we want to do the business formation and make sure the state filings are correct, the EIN matches up with the bank account, the debit card is gotten immediately for that business, for that debit account, and
Mhm.
keeping good records, keeping good receipts, and and filing your taxes. If you haven't filed for 3 years, catch up. So it's better to catch up and be current so that you're not looked at and you're not sectioned out to be audited the next time. So it all falls down to your higher risk when you have a business anyway, but not as high. W-2, they know you can't do nothing. So they're not even going to mess with you. But in business, because you have these deductions, so you do want to keep good records, and you want to make sure that you're not commingling, because that's what will cause the audit. You shouldn't be afraid of an audit if your things are in order.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, here's my spreadsheet, here's what I spent, here's my bank accounts. What? So
Here's my stuff.
Yeah, you're gonna be ready.
you're gonna be ready, so get ready while it started from the beginning. And if you haven't and you're into your business, get it together now, because now they were 4 years behind with their audits. So whatever you did 4 years ago could still come back today. So with the COVID, it's going to set them back a couple of more years. So what's happening now won't be even looked at for another 4 to 5 years. So that's something to think about. So get it in order now. You still got time.
And it speaks to also not only good bookkeeping, but keeping your records. Like, don't get rid of them after the
Yes.
tax season. You need to hold on to it, because they may come back and be like, what happened in 2012? And you're like, I don't know. I got rid of it.
7 years for complicated business corporation taxes. Keep them puppies for 7 years. I'm actually doing a person's return from 2013. The IRS told her, and it's so bad that my program doesn't even go back that far. So I had to charge her a lot because I had to do it manually. I had to go find a tax book from 2013. That doesn't happen, but it's because she had went 6 years without filing. So, it could happen. So keep those returns, but just get caught up. Don't beat yourself up no more. Been there, it's done. Move forward, get caught up. Get yourself in order now and go fix what was there, so that if it comes back, at least you have a lesson. You don't have receipts, get those bank statements. And if you use your bank statements, at least it'll show that you paid for it, even if it was from a different account. You have something. The money didn't just, you weren't getting money from somebody and paying for it out your pocket. So I'll keep that bank statement. You don't have a receipt, we're going to use that. There go that payment right there from your personal account, but at least it's there. At least you paid for it.
Great advice. Great advice. So Danielle, because you have a history of travel nursing, there's a couple of things I want to ask you about. Again, obviously, travel nurses are making a lot of money right now, and I've been seeing little whispers come across Facebook, like, so y'all been making a lot of money, and now it's tax season, and what type of exemptions did you file for or mark down? And
exempt. They all in exempt.
Like, what did y'all do? So what is your let's dive into that one, because I've been hearing that, and listen, the government's gonna want their money. That's just plain and simple. Y'all can't be hiding your money. So you can make all this money, but if you're not paying the government, they're gonna get it in one way or the other. So listen, I haven't even done travel nursing, and I know they're gonna want their money. So so but let's start here first. What is your recommendation for the travel nurse right now? And then we'll look at it from a business standpoint, because I've had some nurses to say, well, I don't have a business. And people will also say, well, if you're travel nursing right now, you're kind of like a little business owner. You're functioning not necessarily on somebody else's dime per se, but you're kind of managing your own contracts and things like that. I've been hearing people say that. So I want to know your opinion about what is it a travel nurse should be doing, and maybe how can they look at what they're doing as a travel nurse, kind of sort of as a business?
I think,
or at all.
The number one thing is stop filing exempt. Y'all out there, y'all making all this money every week. There's no reason that you being, I'm just gonna say, greedy and filing exempt all year. And then you expect that you're not going to pay the IRS something. Like, that's just from just the education point. Stop doing it. I don't know who told y'all to do it because you want to take all your money home, and then when it comes time for you to do your taxes, you ain't got no money. Where is the money? I had a friend do that for several years,
Mm-hmm.
and I will tell you, the IRS will catch up with you.
Mhm.
The IRS sent her job a letter, and said she cannot file exempt for the next 3 years. No, she can't
Wow.
do it. And so they will catch you. They will get their money, and that's just that. But with the tax laws and stuff, they took a lot of away a lot of things for nurses
Mm.
that you could one time write off that now you can't write off. So I think tax planning is something that will benefit them. They can absolutely afford it. And so it's something that they need to sit down with their accountant or their tax professional at the beginning of the year, especially when they're doing these big contracts, $10,000, $13,000 a week, and figure out where they're going to put that money and put aside something to pay taxes, and allow somebody to educate them on how they can save and what they can and cannot write off.
So, um, comment on the secondary portion of it, because some people, I've been watching and seeing people say that if you are a travel nurse, then you're kind of sort of quote unquote operating a little bit as a business. There's a lot of people like, I'm not a business owner,
Yeah.
I'm whatever. So what is your opinion on that?
I mean, yes and no, but I mean, when you look at it, a lot of those contracts are paying you all that money. They're paying for your housing. You're not paying for it. They're paying for it. They're paying for your travel expenses. They're giving you money for food. So, I mean, they that's a write off for them. It's not a
Mhm.
write off for you. So if you set it up appropriately, you can be like a little business. But if you're going to allow them to do everything for you, that's not a write off for you. That's a write off for that company.
Mm.
And I'll add to that too. When we're working on these contracts, one of the benefits of, what did we just say earlier, W-2 versus a 1099.
Mhm.
So, and I don't know all the details or the nuances behind these contracts, but the minute you let them give you a W-2, you are an employee. Period. Dot in the
Mhm.
story. A W-2 is a W-2, but you do a 1099, and then you can do a little bit more. Then we can go into being a small traveling nurse business. I do this for business, I have a little more leeway. But from what I've been hearing, they're given these perks for being given a W-2. Those perks are for the company. It's not a
Mhm.
perk for you. So when you're fighting these contracts, know the tax benefits also before you say yes to that extra 10,000, but it will give you a W-2. How about not getting a W-2, getting a 1099, alleviating the 10,000, but you're going to get that and more back when you file your taxes as a sole proprietor, as opposed to a W-2 employee.
Perfect. Got it. So earlier you guys were talking about D&D solutions and the different types of packages that people can purchase. Does anybody want to just shed some light, or discuss maybe what is involved in the packages?
Well, I think it's more individualized for what individuals
Okay.
need,
Hmm.
because everybody doesn't need
Everything.
everything. But
Okay.
depending on what it is, we put something together for them. Like, people have come and asked me about business formations, and I just tell them real advice. If you're not already in motion, you don't need an LLC. You don't
Hmm.
need, to be spending all that extra money if you're just still in the research stage, because I don't want people to spend money that they don't need to spend right now. So just, we are educating people. We're not just out here trying to take your money, but we
Hmm.
really want you to be educated and
Hmm.
knowledgeable about what's going on when we do set up your business, when we help you with your personal and business taxes. You're getting educated along the way as well. So you're not going to be signing off on a tax return where you're like, and a few years later you're getting audited and you're like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
you're going to know what's going on. And,
Yeah.
moving forward, you're going to feel empowered.
Perfect. Donna, you need to add to that?
No, well, yes, no, and yes. So each packet is individualized.
Mhm.
Somebody might just need, because like I said, we do a free consultation, and sometimes we just, the advice is all that person needs. And so, they might need the advice on this and then might need us for something else. So if they need, just business formation, when we have one document, it covers everything. We decide who's going to do one or the other, and then we just call the person. And sometimes they put that they need one thing, they need X and they really need Y. So that's why
Mm.
that one-on-one consultation is so important. When people list, just contact me by email. Well, what document am I supposed to send you? And ain't nobody our documents just look like the documents that come from the IRS. You ain't gonna open that. So it's when I see an email, I still pick up the phone. I
Mhm.
want to call you. Hey, this is is this what you need to explain more? This is your situation. Okay, no, you didn't need this. So, number one, we're not out to take anyone's money. We do want to get paid for our services, but we want to give you what you need. So every plan is different. We don't have one set plan, and every state is different. So for different states, that California, to do a tax return in California is going to be different for a tax return in Texas. So all those things have to be allocated, but we do have set options for different requirements of whatever the client may need.
Gotcha. So why should somebody choose D&D Solutions? What's the value in working with y'all specifically?
Oh, now. uh, how about 20 years of education and knowledge, 10 years of knowledge and experience, been there, done that. And I think that's more than, and just personalized treatment, experience, relevance, education. You're going to walk away with knowledge and a happy house and some money in your pocket.
Yeah, we're nurses, so we know. And like Donna said one time on a live, y'all are millionaires. Each nurse on here has made $100,000 10 times, and so
Sometimes
you're a millionaire. And
you're a
I'm like,
millionaire.
oh wow, I didn't know like that. So we know how it is to be making all this money, and sometimes you just need a helping hand, someone to guide you and direct you. And you may have questions in your mind, you just don't know where to go get the answers. And so we have the answers, and if we don't have them, we have somebody that
You can
can
find
help
it.
you. I
Mhm.
know a lot of people that are like, I don't want to start a business, but I want to invest my money. I have all this
Mhm.
money just sitting over here, and I don't know what to do with it.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
got you.
Mhm. Because
We got
outside of taxes too, you have, you got annuities, you got other people, IRAs, things like that, that shelters, you got money that's been in a job from an old job that's sitting over there all the time. Don't know what to do with that money. We know what to do with that money. So, we, like I said, we're nurses also, but we're investors. So we know both sides. So you walk away with a lot of knowledge.
And I just want
so
to add too.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people don't understand the importance of life insurance.
Mm,
But Donna, Donna is mom, y'all. Life insurance is an investment. It may
yes.
not be something that you can immediately reap the benefits from,
Hmm.
but if you dead and gone, if I leave here today or tomorrow, my kids will be good.
Hmm.
Okay,
Right.
they'll be good, good.
Yes.
So it's an investment, y'all. And
Mhm.
if you don't understand that, Donna is your woman. She can help
Hmm.
break it down for you.
Hmm. Oh, and only if you need it. Insurance is insurance for the you need. Nobody comes to us and saying, we do da 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 da. We listen for what your needs are. If you got it, we don't need to reiterate it. I just want to let me look at it, make sure it's good for you. You good there, good. But if you need it, then you 35 and you don't have no insurance. That's not cool. You got a husband and two kids. You insure your car, but you didn't insure yourself. So we
Mhm.
got to take care of that. Make that minimal. Make that quick. Take care of that. Let's move on to the things that's going to get you some money. So, that thing. And that's why our services, because we, have so many licenses between the both of us, we can
Mhm.
cover all things.
Gotcha. Before we end, I'll give you the opportunity if you want to touch on real estate and stock market. I know that both of you invest in those type things as well, and I think it warrants at least mentioning. So if you want to, I'll give you the opportunity to discuss it if you'd like.
That's all, Donna.
That's her.
I'm very amateur when it comes to the stock market. I'm not gonna lie. Donna taught me. I'm taking
She took my
Donna's
course.
section, Donna's course. That's all, Donna.
So I just can't speak enough. What are top 5 millionaires? Where did they get their wealth from? From the stock market. There's not a company that's here that's worth mentioning. Any company, any wealthy person that is not invested in the stock market. So if you're chasing wealth, you're chasing the people who have the wealth. You have to chase what they're doing to get the wealth. So that is real estate, business, and the stock market. Those three things is what will give you your wealth, meaning wealth, not richness, because richness can come and go. You make some money and you spend it. You don't know what to do with it. Wealth will be here today and will be here in 20 years. So you follow the wealth and what the wealthy do, business, stocks, and real estate, and you will attain those same things. If you follow it correctly and you're investing correctly, you can, do the same thing. At what level depends on what situation you're in, but you can't be an investor at this point and follow wealth and not have something in one of those three items. But the best way to have something in all three. All of us, me, Danielle, all the ladies in Wealthy, we have an investment club, Wealthy Women Invest, and we all invest in all three of those things. And that's, we can say, is where our wealth is coming from. So it's
Very
outside of, and then business just kind of helps go with that.
Very smart. Let's I know there are a couple of people that have had some comments, I believe. So let's
Oh,
just address the comments and just see if there's any questions or anything in the audience before
okay.
what was the first thing you invested in?
Who, me or?
Either one.
Okay. My first investment was in Starbucks in the stock market. And I lost money and got scared and got out. And I wish to hell I'd have stayed in there back then, because I think it was like at $12.
Oh, man.
Yes, this was years ago. I was so scared and so didn't know what I was doing, which is where people are. So my first investment was in the stock market, and that was in Starbucks.
I think that was the same thing for me, Donna. I worked a few years ago in a jail, and it was a Starbucks right up the street. And so every day before I went to work, or sometime throughout my day, I would go to Starbucks, and I worked with an old little lady named Nurse Jenna. And when she would see me with the Starbucks, she would say, "You need to invest in that. She kept drilling that. You need to, she said, you go there every day. You need to invest in that. And so finally I got Robinhood, the app, and I invested in Starbucks, but I had no idea what I was doing when it came to the stock market. And so I bought some shares, and I didn't know what I was doing. I would see that it would be losing money. I was like, let me get my little money. that it was the stock market, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
Now I feel, a little bit
more comfortable.
Yes.
Good.
So I will say, for me personally, when I got started in the stock market, one of my first purchases was Tesla. And this was a few years ago. And I was going between Tesla and Chipotle at the time. They were neck and neck, neck and neck, neck and neck. Yeah. And I also, whenever I do stock market investing, I always believe in to start with whatever you use. Look around the house. What do you purchase? What do you buy? Just like you said, you go to Starbucks every day. You might as well put some in it, right? And so, but those two were my two that I was going back and forth on. So my rationale was, I'm going to invest in Tesla because I feel like they're the company of the future. They have been coming out with some innovative things. They had the diesel that they had just brought out, as well as some shingles that are solar panel shingles. And so I was thinking, oh, this is going to be hot. And then at that time, if y'all remember, Chipotle was having a lot of issues as far as tainted food and stuff. And so I thought it was going to tank Chipotle, to be honest with you. I'm like, they're done. And you remember it kept happening over and over and over again, right? So then, so I bought my one share of Tesla for like $340, maybe $340, $350, something like that, right? And this has been about 3 years ago. And I was like, I can only afford one right now, but I'm gonna buy my one share. And then as the years went along, Tesla actually was a lot less than Chipotle for a long time. And I was like, well, maybe I should have invested in Chipotle instead. I was kicking myself. And it wasn't really until when the pandemic hit that I started noticing my Tesla was going up and up
Mm-hmm.
and up and up and up. And I was like, I'm glad that I kept that one share of Tesla. So my one share of Tesla that was worth around 340, 350 split. So now I have the 5 shares, and each one of those shares is trading around what 770, 760,
Mm-hmm.
something like that per share.
Right.
So I'm glad that I kept hold of my but it's just like you guys were talking about. Investing takes that risk.
Right.
We may not always know the answer, but you have to be willing to take the risk to play the
Mhm.
game. You
Right.
don't take the risk, you won't reap the benefit that
Benefits.
could
Correct.
possibly be there.
That's
And
correct.
the one thing, I liken stock market to like losing weight, right? You have this up and down thing, but if you're
Mm-hmm.
consistent with it, then usually you'll
Mm-hmm.
see benefits with weight loss. And it's the same in the stock market. If it's going to go
Mm-hmm.
up and down, it is what it
Up
is.
and
It's how
down.
it
Right.
works. But if you're consistent and you stay with it and you learn it, then it can reap you some nice benefits, nice
Right.
passive income. And that's
Right.
what we like, right?
That's what we like. That's what we like. This
Let's
when
see.
when I
Go ahead.
bought Tesla, I bought it at $98,
Oh, Donna.
120. I had 120 shares. So
Mm.
do the math.
Oh, oh, oh.
They thought it was in my, one was personally, but the other part was in my investment club. And I swear they thought I was crazy. I was obsessed with Elon. I said, he's a genius. I can see it. You guys gotta know. Look, da, 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 da. I did a whole, I got a whole autobiography. I didn't read his whole from everything. So Nicholas Tesla, where he got the name of the car, I got 4 books. I kept saying, we buying more. And I actually got
But
in
look at
trouble
it.
because I purchased it without getting the approval from the club. And now they got on me, but now they happy. They're very
Right.
No, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You said $99?
98,
$98. And how many shares you purchased?
120.
Donna sitting pretty. She saw the genius.
Yes. I said he crazy like me. He is all yes. I have to invest in him.
I thought I was sitting pretty. Yeah, right. That's smart. That's smart. But
Yeah. So
I thank you for bringing that up because there's so many of us that are just so nervous about the stock market. We're nervous
mhm,
about business formation. We want to do some underhanded shade tree kind of business, like, just cash at me this or whatever.
right,
Like,
right.
I don't need a website. I don't need an EIN. Just cash at me
Gotcha.
and call it a
Mhm,
day. But there are benefits in doing these things right
And
right.
and
then
starting them out.
also, I just want to add too, say, you get connected with somebody and they work for the government.
Mhm.
They're the procurement officer. So guess what? If an opportunity comes along, because I know some people, right? And they have family members that work for the government that are procurement officers.
Mhm.
Things come across their desk and they're not supposed to, but with all things, people do favors or
Mhm,
whatever. If they call you up and say, "Hey, this came across my desk. I know that you do trucking.
Yep.
If you trying to do underhanded shade tree stuff and
mhm,
not really treat your business like it's supposed to be treated, you're not going to be able to go after those contracts.
That's right.
On state level, federal level, local level, you have to be ready because by the time somebody's trying to wait on you, the opportunity is gone.
Mhm.
mhm,
It's
mhm,
gone.
mhm.
That's another thing too, is what I want the audience to realize is that you guys, you're helping them to set their business up appropriately from multiple angles. So just that right there, if your business is set up appropriately, you can go after these multi-million-dollar contracts. The
Right,
government is giving away money.
right.
And if you're not set up appropriately, you're not going to get the money. It's just
Mhm,
plain and simple. And
right.
I know that you guys have actually gone after and or connected with people that do it all the time. And so that just adds to your value in the
Mhm.
D&D solutions, is because you're coming from a whole nother angle too. A
Right.
whole nother angle.
Exactly.
$1
Exactly.
billion was set aside for COVID testing and COVID vaccines.
Mhm.
And Tamara has been preaching about her lab for how long?
How long?
Preaching. Since June. Since May, June.
For a
Mhm.
very long time. I
Mhm.
bet you wish you had that lab now, don't you?
And
Right.
then prior to that, she was preaching about government
To make
contracts.
contracts.
And so you
Mhm.
know what I've been doing? Listen to every single
Listening.
word she's been saying. I done wrote
Mhm.
so much stuff down about government contracting. And as soon as I got the lab up and going and I got LLC established and EIN and blah, 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 I went ahead and got my business up on sam.gov
Mhm.
because I
That's right.
knew that money was going to be set aside
Right.
for COVID. And I'm
Right.
like, how can I possibly put myself in a position to be awarded government contracts, aka
Mhm.
reparations?
Mhm.
That's what I call
Hey,
them.
Mhm. So
hey.
on that note, I have the that same note correctly. I have another partner that's in our group who's getting a government contract for dry ice, and you still have to have. So her business is government ready, my business is government ready. We just collaborated a little bit. She's already got the contract, I got the place, and boom, we just gonna run it together. So there's just so many nuances to ways that if you have that business. I added to my most recent business is Northern Comfort. It's the government ready. That business is probably 7 months old, and that's the one that I'm using for my group home. But I went to go furnish my group home 2 days ago, and Tamara and Tasha, T&T, we D&D, T&T. What's Tasha been preaching? Business credit, business credit. So I was in that store buying all this stuff because I got to furnish this property. Some stuff it was given to me, but some stuff I was buying. And guess what I did? What would Tasha have said? Get your credit right. I went straight up to Home Depot and applied for credit with this new business. They gave me $15,000 in business credit on the point right then because my stuff was in order. My second business credit card, 7 months, just because things is in order and my credit is good. It's just like that. So it works, and it does, and it works right. So get it in order. You can have
You
the
better
same.
come through, Miss Dollars. Come through. I know that's right. Okay, two questions here. One of them, this will be for you, Donna, and then I have one for you, Danielle.
Mhm.
The first one for Donna is, as a person starting out with investment, can you say a few stocks that may be good to start investing in?
So if you haven't started at all, you probably want to go with some indexes, really broad, to get started, like XLK, which is the ETF for the tech sector. Maybe QQQ, which is the tech sector also. So you want to go broad and big because the small stocks right now, they're up and down, and they're pretty pricey. They're not on sale right now. So indexes will be a good place to start. VOO is another one, VOO. That's if you want to buy the entire S&P 500. So XLK, VOO. So and just so you know, ETFs is exchange traded funds. That's when you buy the whole basket. So you want the whole S&P, you want the whole Dow. The Dow 30 is actually a stock. You can get that one. The NASDAQ is actually a stock. You can purchase that under the ETF name. So go that route if you're just starting. And then later on, if you open up what's inside of the VOO and the XLK to the right over on the Yahoo Finance, it will tell you the stocks that are held within that ETF. So if you are interested if you know you have the ETF, you can choose one of the top 5 stocks within that ETF, and there's your top choices from there to broaden down which tech stock to get, which S&P stock to get, and then that'll help give you a good running start.
So basically, Donna, you got to break it down in layman's term,
Uh-oh.
okay? In other words, what she is saying is the tech companies are all in a little
Little
basket.
basket.
And instead of
A
going
big
and just
basket.
getting, a big basket,
Yeah.
instead of just going and getting stock in like a a Google or Amazon or whoever, whatever,
Get
a
the yeah
Facebook or whatever, then you buy this one ETF
basket.
and it's got boom, 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 all
All
in
of
it.
them.
So
All in
all
it.
of them are there. And then you
Mhm.
can, she said, English, please. See, I told you I had to break it down in nurse layman's
Yes.
terms. So essentially, you're investing in all of the businesses a little bit all at once,
All at
correct?
once. Yes.
Okay.
That's a
Instead
good
of
start.
investing
Instead of
in
investing one.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. For you, Danielle, I have a question for Danielle regarding business formation. I have a salon. I'm about to close on my first investment property, and my husband is putting together a trucking company. Do we need separate LLC, EIN for each, or can we
Yeah.
be something like XYZ Enterprise, DBA, ABC Salon? No,
No,
nope,
just
nope. Even
separate.
even Alviana Brewster knows that one.
Mhm.
123 Property Management, JKL Trucking. Nope,
No,
don't
just
do it.
separate it.
Mhm. Keep
Separate
it.
it.
Yeah.
Separate.
Why? Explain why.
If that truck gets into an accident and hurt somebody, kill somebody, their lawyer can come after all of your businesses that are under that one LLC. Separate it. It's two separate different industries. There's no reason why they need to be under the same LLC. Separate them. Um, they have nothing to do with each other, but
Yep.
you don't want to get in a sticky situation where because one business got into some trouble and then everything is gone. Everything is wiped away. If there's a judgment against you or your businesses, just separate them. They're different. I would say like if they're in she's a cosmetologist or she has a salon, if she wanted to put on a class or put something under that business, she can just go get a trade name or doing business as for her salon,
Mhm.
and she can be like a consultant on the side. But if there are two different industries, I would say, but again, I'm not giving no legal advice, but I wouldn't put them under the same LLC. No, I
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Two, like you said, two
Yeah. Two
totally separate
separate.
things.
Hmm.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Um, and that's from Lakeitra. And so she has another question. How do you manage a DUNS?
How do you manage
How
it?
do you manage it? What do you mean?
So, I
Let's say this. I don't think people understand what a DUNS number
oh,
is. So let's start there. Explain what it is and what it does, and then maybe we can help her to understand managing it.
so I think it's a number that they use to like for business credit.
Mhm.
You can use it with like when you go on the website, they'll ask you if you're using this number to do government contracting. The government needs you to have a Dun and Bradstreet number, but also they use it for business credit purposes. I'm not exactly sure. Um, like that ain't my business credit is not my thing, so I can't really give her like a precise answer. But I know it's used for government contracting and also for business credit. It's
Yeah.
like a special identifier for your business.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You have anything to add to that,
No,
Donna?
that's about right. Yeah, it's not my specialty, but I do know that that's the two things. Got to get it. Just get it.
Yeah, just get it.
But yeah,
Free.
it's
You
business
go into
credit.
the-
Hmm.
yeah, it's free. You go onto their website, you obtain it, and that's that. And then
Hmm.
hold on to it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
please don't pay nobody to
Yeah.
please don't pay nobody to do
It's
that.
free. It's free. You can get it for free.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let me just check and make sure that there's not any other questions. So this has been lovely, ladies. I am so happy to have you guys and to connect. I love your knowledge and your value that you bring. I love the fact that you're involved in several different businesses, so that just makes the partnership just that much stronger. You're bringing lots of different angles of experience into this partnership that you guys have going on. So I'm excited to see where it takes you, and more importantly, think about this. Think about this time in 2022 next year and how many businesses you guys will have helped to launch for other people,
Hmm.
and how maybe prosperous they'll get to be this time. They're asking
Hmm.
questions in the comments right now, but hopefully they'll be able to work with you and take your knowledge and your expertise and really run with it. You know,
Right.
I say this all the time, but this is planting season.
Hmm.
Put your seeds in the ground, fertilize them, nurture them, because I guarantee you, you will reap some benefits
Hmm.
if you're planting your seeds appropriately. And so I feel like working with D&D Solutions is a really good, appropriate way to start planting those seeds appropriately so that, boom, this time next year, we got multimillionaires,
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
but more importantly, successful businesses.
yeah.
Yes. That's what
And
you want.
what I want to add to, I think just being connected with people that are doing what you want to do is amazing.
Hmm.
Everybody's mind works differently. I promise when I get on the phone with Donna, when I get out, I told her the other day, I said, "You gonna have me broke, Donna." She was like, "Well, you should be."
Yes.
And
But
when
in,
she broke it
yes.
down, I was like, "Okay, that makes sense."
Y'all are funny.
And she said that too. She said, "You're gonna have me broke." I said, "Well, what you need the money for if it ain't making no money?" I said, "Get that money out there, girl. It's got a job to do. We need to spend it. You only need XYZ dollars. The rest needs to be out there working. And I just have a job for it. That's all. I always have a job for money. So
It's smart though. It's smart. Y'all better listen. Y'all better pay attention. They don't call it Miss Dollars for no reason now.
look, when somebody go to borrow money from me, I ain't got it. I'm sorry, I'm not lying. I can't help you, sister, because my money is gone. I get $20 over my what I need for my house. It's getting invested. It's got to go. Man, I get my payout, then I might have some change, but you better get there quick because in 2 days it's gonna be gone again.
Tamara says in the comments, she said, all money has a
Has a
destination.
destination. Dollars have a destination. Dollars have a destination will be my nonprofit in 2021. That's so you'll see that coming up real quick.
Another thing too, Lakeitra called you, Donna, the woe man.
Thank you, Lakeitra.
Very good. So I'll give you the final word,
Mhm.
Danielle. What is your closing statements for D&D Solutions? What would you want the audience to know?
That we're here, like you said, this is the year of the nurses. We make too much money. There's no reason why we shouldn't be putting our money to work, why we shouldn't be collaborating and working together to build our nurse communities up, our own communities up, and go out here and do it the right way.
Gotcha. You, Donna, what's your
Um,
closing statement for the
I think
nurses?
to the nurses is know that you are a millionaire nurse as of today. Just make your next million and make your next million resourceful and passive income bearing million so that you can see the next million. Because if you're going to work for the next 10 years, you're going to make a million plus. If you're going to work for the next 5, most nurses are going to still make it. Make this next bout, do the right thing and give it a destination that you know of and that you're aware of, that you understand, and that you're proud to teach to your family to make it a
Mhm.
legacy.
Very good. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, guys. So
Mhm.
that's it for us today. Make sure you're following us, Black Nurse Entrepreneurs, across all of our social media platforms. Please download our app. Also, please make sure that you subscribe to our podcast as well as our YouTube channel. These ladies, I'm going to have all of their information available, and you guys can also drop your information in the chats if you want to.
Okay.
But when it gets uploaded to the podcast in other avenues, I will make sure that I include your information there. I want you guys to remember that. We don't have to be afraid of money. We don't have to be afraid of making money, and we don't have to be afraid of making our money work for us. This is a new day, and I feel like these two ladies are presenting us with an opportunity to, just really create really good generational wealth for years to come. So I just invite you to take advantage of it. They come from just a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience. And I know them personally. I've at least talked to them multiple times. So I feel like they're family. And so I can say without any doubts, that I believe that working with them will be very beneficial for you, your company, your family, your legacy. And so I just want to remind you guys that we are the trend. We're trendsetters. We go out there and we do things that nobody else is doing because that's just who
right.
we are. That's just how we do it. Okay.
That's
So
right.
that's it for us tonight. I want everybody to take care. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Until next time, just we are the trend.
That's right.
Bye for
Bye
now.
bye.
Yeah.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Thank you. Thank you.